Right, hi people. I don't know how many people are watching this, but I'm just doing a final video here of the Resident Evil 3 Remake playthrough that I started sometime, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. I meant to complete it the other day, and we got so far as to, it was supposed to be seen all the way through to completion. How's it going, Pete? You alright, mate? And unfortunately it just didn't happen because we had a massive network meltdown. How's it going, Steve? And unfortunately we just couldn't get through the last bosses because I lost all control. It was just, my internet had gone so bad, my router had failed, and I just couldn't get any kind of control out of it. So hopefully now we're going to just have one last attempt here to take on the final couple of bosses and finish this game off so we can see the ending, and then I can give you my final thoughts on it, and finally put this one to bed, I think. So let me just set up my desktop. Let's minimize that, and off we go, I guess. At our game. Now, if you remember, we'd gone through, we've escaped most of the town, we've gone through the sewers, the hospital, we've gone through the facility, and now we're on our final confrontation with Nemesis, or our final but one confrontation with Nemesis as it happens. So let me just check I've set up all my items properly. So I think I've got everything that I need for this fight anyway. Yes, I have. But yeah, we were stuck here because my control was just so bad I couldn't do absolutely anything. There's always a little bit of control lag, but it's not too bad in most circumstances. The other day we couldn't get it to stay stable, I couldn't aim, I couldn't do anything. So let's try this again anyway and see if we can polish it off while you guys are watching this time. I was playing this every day at one point and absolutely smashing it, but I've had Streets of Rage 4 in now, so this hasn't had a look in, unfortunately. But yeah, I've played it through a few times now, and hopefully I can do it in a second. So, just as a recap, I think it was just before this room that it all went to pot.
More than I do. I don't think the wisdom I've been trying to impart on you is getting through. Now I know you can't put a price on life. But I'm in this business to get paid. So let's make a deal.
He's a bad bastard.
You go down there, battle the Nemesis, and I'll recall it all and sell the combat dog. Put on a good show, and maybe I don't need a vaccine.
Right, let's hope this holds up for the duration now.
Good.
Let's hope I can do this right, not just cock it up under peer pressure. So here we go. Face to face.
Jill, is that you?
Carlos?
And then Carlos comes to help us, a little bit too late as always.
Spot for you.
Good idea.
Now what we need to do is we need to change up our weaponry to the shotgun. Become very clear why in just a second. So he starts running around like a loon, and what he'll do is he'll stop behind one of these tanks that's going around the top here. There are zombies spawning at the bottom, but we can ignore them for the most part. We just got to find the right place where he's stopping.
He's hiding behind tank 5.
And then what we do is we blast that to bring him down.
Now, rip that fucker apart.
We break out our grenade launcher, and we terminate what I saw when he's down there. Oh, forgot to use my dodge there. Forgot what my buttons were for a second there. Right. Damn it, that wasn't a good start. Because I've got my protection coins on me. I can actually tap the buttons to get up a little bit quicker. So again, he's up to the rafters, so we're back to our shotgun. We're running the other way around this time. Wait to see where he stops. Is it 8 or 1? I must have carried on going, I didn't see him carry on. That was stupid. Gotta be careful now because he's going to leap on me. Oh, that was close. I probably should take care of the zombies. I usually ignore them because Nemesis destroys them when they get in his way. As you'll probably see in a minute when he launches for me. Oh, yeah, here we go, there you go. He just barrels over them, you see. So you can ignore them for the most part. But we need to get him up there because that's where we do the most damage to him. You can hit him down on the ground here with grenades and grenade launcher rounds and things like that. But it's not really worth it because he doesn't do that much damage. Right.
He's behind number 5.
Thought so. There we go. Get off. Oh, that wasn't good. He'll go back up at the top in a sec. There we go. So back to shotgun again.
Here comes some more.
Where's he gone? Whoa, there he is.
Number 3.
What the hell? Why wasn't that making contact then? I was dead on target. Unless I was a little bit too far away. Okay. Right. Just stay on the ball. At least he's not making contact anyway. Except for that time. Spoke way too soon. That's it, as long as I can keep dodging. That's it. You've got to get him up there, see if there's no way to essentially lure him. He kind of goes when he pleases like this. That's it. Right. I've got to get nearer to the target this time. Damn it. Fair enough when he stops between the barrel things at the top. When he does, obviously you can't really knock him down. I've got mine rounds, they can help bring him down, but I'm trying to save those, so I don't know how far my ammo's going to take me. I'm still dodging him anyway. Come take out that zombie. So I'll do it.
Number 3.
3, oh yeah. Too far away. Probably should have bought a different gun actually for this rather than the shotgun. Just so we've only got a few shots left. Come on. This fight can either be really quick or really long, and unfortunately this looks like it's going to be a long one this time. Right.
Got some more.
Stay focused this time.
Look out.
Great, again. Between stations so I can't get him. I think what I'm going to do here, I'm going to switch up my tactic. I'm going to switch to the mine rounds. So we'll equip that. And I'll go back on and I'll switch to the mine rounds, and that way I can bring him down a little bit easier. See, I should be able to bring him down if he lands between the tanks. Good job, I've got my enhanced dodge turned on as well. Right.
Here comes some more.
Just need to stop right by a good tank. Not there.
Number 4.
Oh, he's leaked all the way across, that's why. I ain't gonna get there in time. God damn. I remember the first time I did this match, I was using way too much ammo until I realised the way I was supposed to be doing it, because any damage you do to him while he's on the ground doesn't really do any proper damage to him. And that's because you've got to catch him while he's up in the rafters to really do the damage, and then strike him while his heart's hanging out of his chest when he hits the ground. I've just got to get him while he's up by one of the tanks, and I've got to be on the ball. I've just got to be right there when he does it, when he stops, and not fuck it up.
Look out!
Here we go, he's the same again, look. He's just not separating himself, he's not getting on them tanks. He usually clings to a tank every time, either I'm just getting bad RNG. But this time to switch up. I'm going to launch the mine rounds directly at him on the floor and hope it does enough damage to finish him off.
Yeah!
See, wasn't really damaging him then. It's just so annoying.
Here comes some more. Number 4.
See, I won't even have time to strike him there. I'll wait till he lands. I'll do it. There we go. See, that wasn't enough to knock him down now, so I've wasted loads of mine rounds. This ain't going well at all. I knew I'd fuck it up once I had people watching me. Doing now. He's doing patterns now I've never even seen before, so I don't know what's going on. I really need to catch him on one of these tanks.
Look out!
Fuck. I'm gonna die if I'm not careful. I ain't got many shots left either in my shotgun. Damn. Don't remember it being this hard, seriously. It's getting pissed. That was a bit too close for comfort. I don't think I can actually shoot a tank and bring him down while he's running past. I mean, if I could, that'd be brilliant.
Number 7.
See, he's too far away and he'll jump before I get anywhere near it. Come on, man. Really need to get a grip here. There is some ammo kicking around on the sides. I could do with grabbing it if there is any. I swore I'd dodge that. Definitely didn't dodge that one. Dodge that one. Come on, asshole.
Got some more incoming. Look out!
See, he's just not sticking by a tank at all. And he just can't do any damage with a shotgun. Come on, man. That zombie out, for God's sake. Is he gonna do it? Yeah. I wanted to run past this tank. See, that didn't catch him. He's got to actually be clinging to the tank.
Number 7.
I'm too far away again. This isn't going well at all. I've lost my mojo after failing the other day. I'd had a brilliant run through as well without too many problems. Sod this. I'm gonna try and hit him with a mine round while he's up the top.
Got some more incoming. Look out!
Nope. Missed. And that was just a waste of a mine round. Getting dizzy moving around in circles like this.
Here comes some more. Number 5.
That was bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, that did one bit of damage, not much. Stuck in the corner, not good. At least took out that zombie for me.
Here comes a crane. Use it to climb up.
I think that might have got it actually.
Come on!
Jill, get back!
Maybe I did do enough damage early on then.
Now get on!
But as usual, you think he's dead. And he's not.
I'm gonna melt this fucker into mush. This
This is similar to what happens on the original Resident Evil 3. Except except on Resident Evil 3 you've already kind of obliterated him, and then you kind of dump him over the side into the acid rather than already being in like a big vat like that.
Okay, I'll meet you up ahead.
Nikolai, where did you...
So now we just got to get hold of Nikolai. It's difficult, mate, seriously. And it's not over just yet. We've got that gunpowder. No, don't need that. First aid spray. Weapon spec sheet. Project title: Ferromagnetic Infantry Use Next Generation Railgun. Suppression of new bioweapons in case of an outbreak. Extreme firepower provides a secondary benefit of completely obliterating the target, leaving no trace behind. It requires multiple power sources, may be difficult to secure in practice. Could you consolidate to a single power source? Great. So we've got the weapon to kill it, but it's going to be a pain in the arse to use. So we will hang on to our first aid sprays, I think, just in case. And we need some ammunition desperately. And I think I've hammered most of the ammunition. Yes, I have. So what I'm going to do here, because I've used so much damn ammunition at that point, I am going to cop out here a little bit, and I'm going to cheat slightly, and I'm going to break out the infinite rocket launcher just because I've had it up to here with him. So we're going to take that out, and that should be all we need, I think. We'll save it there just in case. I don't really want to go through that again. Like I say, I've done it a million times. It's not like I haven't already gone through this slog. And we're going to switch to the infinite rocket launcher just so I'm not worrying about ammo. We're on the final thing anyway. And then we end up in this massive room here where they've been testing their machinery. You can see some of those things that I pushed into the wall on my last playthrough that help power the big doors, help power the generator to the big doors. So let's get down and get out of here.
It's done. Give me the vaccine, you greedy son of a bitch.
No. You print money. I like money. We shall make ours an ongoing arrangement. Now drop the gun.
It's not like any of us are going fucking anywhere. And he's become this big fucking slug thing.
Have you ever seen anything so incredible? The data on this would be worth millions. But, you know how it is. City's about to explode, and you can't put a price on life.
No shit.
Good luck!
Nikolai!
Jill!
Go after Nikolai!
So I've now got to deal with
He's
this
got the
bastard.
vaccine.
What about you?
We're running out of time. I've got this.
I know you do.
Look, just so you know, this is the last fucking time.
So we know we can't take it out with normal weapons. We need this. This is the railgun.
Now we're
This is what you call a fucking gun. So it works. But now we've got to get the fucking power back to it.
Damn, it needs power.
But he's going to try and attack us if we go for them. So what we've got to do is we've got to burst these blisters.
Felt that, did you? How about some more?
Oh, and try not to get mashed. You can die very quickly here, so I will be using my my health, even though I've got restorable items there. So he's down temporarily. like I say, you can't actually damage him properly, like with the infinite rocket launcher anyway. This is just for a matter of speed and efficiency. And he'll be back up any second now, so I'm not going to risk it. Got 2 more to get back up and running over there. But we've got to burst those blisters there to hurt him. And then we've got to get those other 2 power sources going. I've also got to dodge him swiping at me like that. He also spits acid at you as well. I think that's got him. Oh, that wasn't good. He can actually poison you there, and he can lose your energy really fast, so you got to be quick. And again, you can get the other one sometimes, but I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to get back into position, and I'll wait for him to regenerate once more.
You think I don't know how to fuck you up?
The first time I did this, I managed to take out those things using just a handgun. Don't know how I did it, to be honest. Oh, that wasn't good. Come on. This one's a little bit too near to him. I don't like being this close. This is the one that always scares the shit out of me. That's it. All the power's back. Oh, he's coming back alive.
I am sick of your shit.
Let's fucking finish this. Have it. Get fucking down. And let's just make sure of that.
Come on.
Fucking have it.
Take the fucking hit.
That's how it's done. It is satisfying to finally finish the bastard off.
Good riddance.
For all the aggro he's given me throughout the game. So yeah, he's finally dead now. Just got to get the hell out of here now before the nuke drops on the city. But we need that vaccine before we do. Contract. Received offer from client seeking to use Raccoon City Crisis to undermine and claim market share of Umbrella Corporation via a multi-pronged strategy. Sabotage Umbrella attempts to destroy evidence. Induce encounters between Umbrella Chemicals bioweapons and security forces. Report deployment of any new bioweapons, including Project N. Remuneration exceeds current offer from Umbrella and takes top priority. However, the client has agreed to a grace period before any of the deliverables, so the payment from Umbrella Corporation may also be collected. So that was Nikolai's plan all along. He just wanted to get us into fights with the Nemesis, record the information and take any possible vaccine just for money.
Can't let Nikolai get away with that vaccine.
Now this section here is also a little bit familiar because this is an area that crosses over with Resident Evil 2. It's the escape lift. So instead of going down, we're going up.
I can still catch him.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
You're not going to stop. Promised you this, didn't I?
No! Do you have any idea?
So
what
much
you
for the
just done?
vaccine.
No, don't care. My client ordered me to reduce Umbrella to rub.
10 minutes until missile
Ah.
impact.
The missile has launched. And that is my cue. Goodbye, Miss Valentine. Shame you didn't listen to me when you had the chance.
Yeah, exactly. John Wick, is he?
Jill! Shoot him!
I can't! I'll hit you!
I'll fucking do it.
You have to! There's no other way.
Gotcha.
Carlos!
If you don't shoot fast enough there, it completely undoes everything you've just done, and you have to go back and fight Nemesis again. You only get a second or two to make that shot, else he just stabs him in the head and that's it, all over.
Why'd you do it?
There's a price tag for everything. Even letting the world burn.
Who are you working for?
I'll tell you. If you get me out of here. I'll pay you whatever you want.
As we know from looking at the later episodes of the later chapters of the game, the earlier chapters, it was Wesker all along.
You'll never find out the truth.
I don't mind a little detective work.
Wesker was the person chiefly behind a lot of the Raccoon City incidents. And then she just says, "Fuck you," and leaves him behind. She might as well have just shot him in the face. They're gonna nuke the place anyway.
Jill, you alright?
The graphics on this are superb, gotta be said.
There it is.
The frame rate on this capture here doesn't do it justice. Well, the image of the noob certainly looks better on this game anyway.
It's finally over.
Pretty much.
So long, Marcy.
I felt empty and cold as the heat from the blast washed over us. All this death wasn't caused by a monster making a virus. It was greed.
Oh, how very prophetic.
Human greed. I decided then and there, the ashes of Raccoon City would be Umbrella's ashes too. I would end them, once and for all.
And that is Resident Evil 3. We get a credit roll and then a tiny little cutscene, which I can't really make sense of. So I'm just going to skip this. You don't want to read all the credits. You get this little cutscene here. And there's a lot of debate over what its meaning could be. People thought maybe there's alternative endings to the game. The original Resident Evil 3, depending on how quick you finish the game, wherever your ranking was at the end, you got different endings. There was, I think there was something like 20 different prologues at the end or something like that. With this, there's just the one. So, that was Resident Evil 3 Remake. Now, a lot of people, it's come under a little bit of criticism because, unfortunately, much like the original Resident Evil 3, it was rushed out. That they only took a year to build this, and it seems like they were focusing much more on the game that comes with it, which is the it's called Project Resistance. So there's no extra modes or anything. They haven't even got Mercenaries mode on this. Now Mercenaries was the first time really the West had seen a kind of speed run mode, if you know what I mean, through a Resident Evil game. I think there was a Mercenaries kind of mode on the Saturn Resident Evil 2, but I think that was only in Japan, unless I'm mistaken. Yes, and so Mercenaries mode got unlocked when you played the original, and it unlocked new weapons for the game. In this, it's slightly different. You've got targets you have to reach. All of those targets you saw on the score table, that's your replay value for this game. So once you've gone through, you then have to go through and you have to go to bonuses and go to records. You have to hit all these achievements. So, you know, once you've escaped from Uptown Raccoon City, defeat Nemesis, a lot of these you do as part of the story, but there's other ones a bit further down, like improving your weapons, expanding your inventory. You don't necessarily do those as part of the main story. Defeating so many enemies with a certain type of gun, and that's how you unlock points. And then with those points, you go to the store, and this is where you'd buy like the extra things. So I bought her extra costume, the recovery coins, which were helping me recover without using herbs, the defense coins, the assault coins, the crafting companion I never actually used because it didn't come in too handy. It just allows you to create more ammunition each time you mix gunpowder. But the field combat manual, that helps you to dodge faster. You also get that perfect dodge where you can take aim on them in slow motion afterwards. You can get the bolt cutters early, the lockpick early, extra hit pouches to carry more stuff with you. And then of course you've got a few weapons that you don't normally get in game. The hot knife, which actually sets fire to zombies when you stab them with it, which is pretty cool. The samurai edge, which is her gun from the original game. It's more powerful, but you can't upgrade it during the game, so you might as well just get the gun upgrades and use your normal gun. So it's a bit of a pointless weapon. The Raiden is a little bit like the Plagueis removal laser from Resident Evil 4. It targets certain enemies, and it just basically brings them down a bit easier. Infinite MUP handgun, that's like your standard handgun, an infinite version of it. Infinite assault rifle, which is the only one I haven't unlocked. And then of course at the top we've got infinite rocket launcher, which is something, you know, most of the Resident Evil games have as an unlockable. And once you've unlocked that, and you've unlocked the extra hit pouch things, you can blast through the game. If you look at some of my records on here, yeah, bonuses, records, no, wrong place. Story, there we go, results. If we go to results there, you can see that my fastest time through the game was actually on Nightmare mode. I did it in 1 hour 13 minutes. Once you've got the infinite rocket launcher unlocked, you can basically blast through the game. There are certain conditions you have to meet, so you have to beat it in a certain time to get a high ranking. And with Nightmare and Inferno mode, you actually have to get an S ranking, you actually have to do it with less than 5 saves. Actually, for any S ranking, you have to do it with less than 5 saves, which is easy early on, but it's a lot more difficult on Nightmare. Once you've got the infinite rocket launcher, it does make it a bit easier, but there are a few cheat moments where you've got to, like, you know, you don't have your weapons available, like very early on in the game, and you've got to do a couple of perfect dodges, or as like I'm doing now, I'm trying to complete Inferno, which is the last difficulty level, and I'm literally on the last boss now. I've had no problem going through the game, and I'm only up to 3 saves, I think it is, and I'm at the final boss that you just saw me take on. Now that was a piece of piss on standard mode, but on Inferno, 1 hit and you die, and he moves a lot faster. There's a lot more blisters you have to burst. He is really, really fucking difficult. So the replay factory should just try and improve your scores on this. Sadly now Mercenaries mode and the Project Resistance thing, it's like a separate game really. It's much like Resident Evil Outbreak, which is one I wasn't a fan of. The release on PlayStation 2, and I just wasn't a fan of that. On the whole, I love the game. They have changed up the story a lot from the original. I wish they'd included more elements, and the way they present Nemesis is just more like a big monster in this, which was a mistake they made with the later games. There was no suspense and no real horror from the jump scares, and even though they say jump scares were cheap, on the original game you'd be going around solving puzzles, and then he just come out of nowhere, much like Mr. X did when they redid Resident Evil 2. In fact, how Mr. X is on Resident Evil 2 is more like how Nemesis should have been in this game. Whereas Resident Evil 2 was being developed for 3 or 4 years, this was developed in a year, and I do feel again like they rushed it out and they've made the game a bit too short, and that's why it started to get a bit of a negative reception. However, the combat is a lot better, it controls a lot better, you got more weapons to mess with. It just feels a bit more well-rounded, if you know what I mean. I just wish they'd extended it out. You haven't got a section in the clock tower at the church. The hospital was only short originally, but there's no park section. And there's some sections in this where, as you saw me go through it, such as the bit before you take him on in the courtyard of the clock tower, there's a section there, just like a whole section where there's no enemies, and you feel like there really should have been, and that's where I feel like they designed the game, designed the path, and then just cut it down, you know what I mean? It feels like they're a little bit lazy with it. It's like even with the start, there's no big intro to actually start the game. It just shows you Nemesis right there on the title screen. It's just not, it doesn't feel as good as the original. I mean, Resident Evil 2 Remake I felt was the near perfect remake, even though it didn't have the proper drastically different A and B scenarios. At least Leon and Claire's scenario were different enough that, you know, it felt like you had a bit more replay value. Then you had the last survivor with Hunk trying to get through the stage, and the Tofu survivor, and it just, you know, there was a lot more replay value in it, and it was a harder game because there was more puzzles to go through. This, once you've been through it once, it didn't really challenge me first time, but it did take me. I mean, I've overwritten my original save there now. My best record when I went through on standard originally was 9 hours, taking in all the files and reading everything. But once you've gone through it once or twice, you can see the kind of times I was getting there with no problems. Now, I struggled to get my times down on Resident Evil 2 Remake, and I struggled to get even on the original Resident Evil games, I could never go through and replay them and get my times down by much. But at least there was a bit more incentive to do so. I've blasted through this now, pretty much aced it. I just need to beat that last cheap final iteration of Nemesis, and I've completed the whole thing. But I feel like I've gone as far as I can with it now, which is a little bit of a shame. It's not lasted as nearly as long as I would hoped it would in terms of replay factor, and it doesn't overlap enough with with Resident Evil 2, and I felt like they could have done a bit more with the overlap. They have made some good key changes, like with Carlos doing things. The hospital stage was all extended. I thought that was all pretty cool, but it just never feels like there's enough threat there. You know, the original Nemesis, you were taking it all nice and quiet, and then you go through a door and he'd be there in your face, or jumping through a window, or dropping down on you. You never get that sense of urgency here. Every time he comes, you see the autosave icon appear in the corner, or you'll get like a big break or a stock up of weapons. You don't get that with the original Resident Evil 3, so you could never predict when he was coming. So yeah, it's not as good as the original. The visuals are brilliant, the combat's brilliant. It's still a really fun game to play, and if you haven't played it yet, I suggest you get it. And if you didn't want to pay full price, I can understand that, but it's worth picking up and worth playing through if you like Resident Evil 3, if you like any of the Resident Evils, in fact. But yeah, I'm pretty much done with it now. That was probably going to be my last playthrough for a while now. I might revisit it at some point, but I'm done with it for now. Anyway, I'm glad I finally rounded it all off. It's been a challenge to do, but at least my internet held up tonight the way it's supposed to do. So I'm done with that anyway. I won't be doing too many PS4 games on here. I'm still doing a couple of Streets of Rage 4 ones, because obviously there's still a lot more to investigate in that, and it's a very retro style game, but I don't play that many PS4 games, and of the ones I do, they tend to be retro inspired. But I will be doing a lot more streams to do with other retro games, SNES, Mega Drive, Master System, you know, all the old consoles and things like that. I've done a few already, and I've improved my layouts now, so we're doing more of those, and I'll be doing a few more hardware reviews and everything soon. But for tonight at least, that is the end of Resident Evil 3, and that's me signing off. No problem, Steve. Take it easy. See you all later.